gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and subbing you down Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server, and full access to upcoming not safe for work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Alright. Before he can stop them, his feet take him to the source of the sound. He leaves the trail behind, slipping through the undergrowth and leaping over fallen logs with a sinuous agility that belies his size. Finally, the trees give way to the side of a winding, burbling stream. It's shallow, but Kota doesn't mind. He steps out of his sandals and takes a seat on the riverbank to slip his tired feet to the rushing water. It's warm, so warm. Old, half-forgotten instincts fill his breast, making the dragon's breath hitch in his throat. It's been so long since he's had a proper bath in a warm river like this, and the need to feel the water's embrace itches over his scales and pricks at the far corners of his languid mind. Okay. His Yakuta, worn and smelling faintly of sweat and road dust, comes off first. Kota picks up the tune he was humming earlier as he folds the garment in his lap, over and over into a nice neat bundle, then carefully set aside on the soft grass. The dragon looks around for a moment, ensuring he's completely alone, then unwinds his sundashi from around his hips with the same practice. Oops, can't show that in a Christian visual novel. That's funny, oh my god. He knows full well there's no shame in his nudity, but centuries of wandering the new world have allowed modern sensibilities and modesty to rub off on him. None of it is helped by this age's laws. There was a time when creatures like him were free to plainly wander the world of men. Nowadays there are consequences to breaking the secret. Kota can't help a quick, shameful thrill down his spine as he bares himself, even with no one else around to see him. Nonetheless, he keeps his clothes nearby, so he's within the charm's range. With a soft grunt and a half hop, the dragon slips into the warm, flowing waters of the river. Ah. There's a rock. I like the rock there. As soon as the waters touch his scales, his muscles relax and he sinks waist deep into the river. A low sigh escapes his lips in a slow, lazy exhalation, and his maned head falls back to rest on the riverbank. He hadn't realized how bone-deep weary he'd become, but now, with the rushing waters caressing and embracing him, peace stills his mind for the first time in centuries. The warm current feels familiar, like an old friend, an old lover, welcoming him to a home he'd left behind long ago. As he lounges against the riverbank, feeling the hard, smooth pebbles beneath him, the swirling, flowing river enfolding him, Kota grasps at that familiarity. He allows his mind to wander along with his hands. Over his shoulders and across his chest, his claws picking at the ridges between his scales. Down to his belly, across his sides and hips, his thighs. As his pensive thoughts sink into the warm haze of his meditation, a finger brushes the soft-scaled lips of the slit at the dragon's crotch. Oh, yeah, okay, not reading that. You can almost feel their breath on his ear. Hear the low rumble of their purring voice. Kota's heart flutters along with his eyelids as the fingertip within him brushes against the spot that makes his toes curl and his breath hitch in his throat. The slow, gentle caress of the river waters of his home isn't the only thing the dragon has longed for all these years. He can feel the flesh within, the hidden length of his manhood, stirring at these thoughts, the desire, the need. With a long sigh, Kota reluctantly draws his finger out of himself and moves his hand back to his stomach. He rubs over his body, up to his chest, to his neck. And a half-remembered poem flickers through the dragon's mind as his hands scrub away the dust and sweat of his journey. I like to wash the dust of this world in the droplets of dew. With dewdrops dripping, I wish someone I could wash this perishing world. His breath gusts out of his nostrils as his hand falls to his sides. The river takes over, stroking his scales and limbs with its current, its comfort a pale echo of what the dragon longs for. Won't you come and see, loneliness? Just one leaf from the kiri tree. The show, right? Oh. Kota's eyes snap open as his head turns. He didn't hear anyone approach, and yet there stands a man by the tree line. Oh, yes! Indeed. Hey, just a normal man. It's like, no, water time. Sorry to sneak up on you like that. You don't mind some company, do you? You sounds like you could use it. Hey, No. I don't mind at all. Please. The dragon schools his face into a welcoming smile and gestures the man forward with a languid wave. For a moment, Kota is worried that his nakedness might embarrass his impromptu guest, but the man settles comfortably on the riverbank nearby. The dragon scoots closer to his discarded clothes. Sorry again. I've been walking all day and my feet are killing me. The stranger kicks his shoes off with a long sigh and then slips his feet into the water, much like Kota did earlier, downstream from the dragon, which makes Kota smile as he gives the man a nod. Believe me, I do not blame you at all. I myself have only stopped here for a moment's rest. It's a nice place that you found, even if it's only to rest for a moment. Where are you headed from here, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, here and there. I'm more of a wanderer, you see, and you, The dragon looks to the stranger with a polite but expectant expression. In my new clothing, I feel so different, I must. Look like someone else. Ah, a fellow man of Matsuo-sensei's works, I see. That's right. My friends call me Jean. I was making a delivery, but I got just a little bit lost. The man rubs at the back of his head with an embarrassed laugh, and Kota lets out a soft chuckle. Ah, but it's when we are lost that we are most easily able to find ourselves. Of course, it's easier when we have some help. I'd be glad to lead you back to the road, Jean-san. Thank you, Mr. Sumimasen. I am Kota. Well, it's good to meet you, Kota, and your help would be greatly appreciated. The man offers his hand with a wide smile, and Kota turns to shake John's hand as he's grown used to doing with everyone he meets. However, he can't stop himself from giving John a short half bow from his sitting position. Pardon me, if I'm assuming, but you're from Japan, yes? Hi, that's right. It's been a long journey from the lands of my home, but I have enjoyed the wandering. It is marvelous to see new sights, is it not? Like this river. The dragon gestures to the idyllic landscape surrounding them, the rushing, chuckling water and the wind through the trees singing a soft, gentle song. The large boughs overhead, providing shade while allowing diamonds of sunlight to sparkle on the flowing surface of the river, the cool grass on the river's edge. I made my home in such an unspoiled river long ago. Untarnished nature holds special significance to me. You and I may be the only ones to have seen this place in years. See how untouched it is. Smell the freshness of the air. Jean laughs. Well, you're certainly passionate, Kota. That's always good to see in a fellow traveler. I'm from Europe myself. Even there, places like this are becoming a rarity, sadly. But there's still so much to see. That's why I became a delivery man, you see. I guess you could say that the wanderlust is in my blood. It seems you two are a long way from home, Jean-san. I'm sure you've gathered many stories in your journeys from place to place. Oh yes, more than enough for several lifetimes. I could tell you some of them while we walk, if you're ready to get going. The dragon rises to his feet, the water flows down and off of his body like a silken robe. With a groan, Kota stretches and then climbs back up onto the riverbank, completely dry. Allow me a moment to get dressed, and then I'll be prepared. And if you'd like, I've quite a few stories of my own travels that I can share with you as well. Sure, I'd like that very much. The two exchange glances and nods. A spark of understanding and acceptance flickers between Kota and John. The understanding of two fellow travelers sharing the road with each other. As the two men walk side by side, their conversation and laughter fills the air. John relates the story of a particularly difficult delivery up the side of a mountain, a trip that took the better part of 3 days. In return, Kota tells the man of all the places he's been and the sights he's seen. Forests much like this one, cities and towns both ancient and modern. Water time. Good music. Even that one time with the rock slide, that was quite the adventure. Jean laughs as he claps the dragon on the shoulder. Amazing! You're really a well-versed traveler, aren't you? Well, I've been on the road for so long that it has nearly become my home. Oh, I know how that feels. Sometimes when I'm on deliveries, it feels like the only thing I've ever known. Wait. The man's expression shifts as he looks around. Finally, his eyes light up in recognition. Oh, so that's how I got turned around. I think I can find my way from here, Kota. Thank you very much for your help. It was no trouble at all, Jean-san. However, before you go, you want to ask me something, don't you? Am I that easy to read? In any case, have you ever encountered, something that couldn't be explained? What do you mean by that? Well, it was quite a while ago. Back in Nihon, I once encountered something much peculiar during my travels. I've been looking for it ever since. It may sound impossible, but from a spring of warm water I saw something extraordinary. It was a dragon. Kota clutches his charm. Hi! He has red scales and a shade darker than blood. So you have seen him. The man hems and haws for a long moment, scratching at his beard as he loses himself in deep thought. Kota holds his breath, his gaze locked onto John, until the man finally lets out a gusty sigh. I've come across many, shall we say, unique things across my travels. Few things can hope to surprise me. But I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but I haven't run into anything like that. Oh. Well, I suppose it was a long shot. Thank you very much for your company, Jean-san. Good luck with your delivery. The dragon turns to follow the road, not looking back to Jean, as always, until the man calls out. Although, when Kota looks to the man, Jean is combing his fingers through his short beard. He hesitates for a moment, as though getting his thoughts together, then nods. Yes, it should be around somewhere. Should be around here somewhere. What should? Oh, sorry, my friend. There's a hotel around these parts that just recently reopened, and I was wondering if you wouldn't be able to find what you're looking for there. Hotel? Yes. I heard a few stories about that place. Supposedly, it used to be the gathering place for an assortment of unique individuals and things. I'm sure there are a few travelers there already, people like you and me who are wandering around from place to place. I might not know where this thing you're looking for is, but maybe one of them will. Kota considers the man's words. They ring true, and it would at least be a start. A better one than he's had in at least a century. Well, I will not know until I try, will I? Arigatou gozaimasu, Jean-sen. The dragon gives Jean a low bow, and the man laughs and waves a gesture away. It's the least I can do for a fellow traveler. Good luck, Kota. I hope that you find what you're looking for. The two part ways, Jean to complete his delivery and Kota continue following the road wherever it will take him. His eyes are on the horizon, the spot where Jean pointed when he mentioned the hotel. Perhaps there is someone there who'll be able to help him, someone who can give him some kind of lead or point him in the right direction to find what he's been seeking. Or maybe, like so many times before, Kota will find himself disappointed. I say that it's not the designation that matters, but the journey. In his long years of wandering, the dragon has grown envious of those who are able to believe those words. However, as he follows the road, Kota finds a renewed spring in his step. A small smile curls his lips, and once more the rumbling of a hummed tune joins the sound of nature filling the air around him. His heart feels light, lighter than it has in centuries, lighter it has ever been since it first felt the scarring, searing pain of his loss. Perhaps this is hope, he thinks. Hope for the long-awaited end of his journey. Second now. Alrighty. Hot. So hot! But not the heat he has been craving. This is dry, lifeless. This land is cursed. The dragon trudges along the side of the highway, tongue lolling from his open mouth like a panting dog's. His supply of bottled water ran dry long ago, and now the sweat has completely dried from both his yukata and his brow, leaving the desolation of the desert around him to seep into his bones and his breast. It feels wrong to the dragon, just like slipping into the flowing stream earlier felt right. How long has it been since he left Jean behind? It swims away, a fish darting just out of reach of his fingers. He was there in the forests, now he's here in the desert. And there, looming on the horizon, is the hotel the man told him about. It rises up from the other side of a hill, looking almost out of place in the sandy expanse stretching toward the horizon in every direction. The style is one that Kota hasn't seen in quite a long while, and the disrepair the building is readily apparent even from this distance. It wasn't like the dragon was expecting a bustling hub, with polished and shiny doors never having a chance to swing closed around the tide of travelers making their way in and out. But the place looks about as desolate as the surrounding desert. Still, Kota is here. And while the sight before him makes his heart sink, just the smallest bit, the dragon still trudges onward. Down the sandy hill, working a sharp rock out of his sandal with his toes as he goes, along the road, feeling the heat of the blacktop against the scales of his legs, curving slightly as he follows the driveway to the parking lot. Forward, forward, always forward. Kota struggles to make his way up the steps to the building's front door as the fatigue of his journey begins to set in. He has to stop, leaning against the wall to catch his breath. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!